There seems to be one prevailing question throughout this entire season of Sister Wives. What about Truly? Every time somebody tries to institute their opinions, their beliefs, their manipulations onto a situation, they always seem to pull in Truly. But let's explore the issue of what happens with Truly and how the dynamics of the Sister Wives relationships, more particularly Christine and Kody's dissolved marriage, will affect Truly moving forward. Hi, I'm James, and this is my take on reality. Now, before we get started, I would ask that if you get anything from the content, that you consider subscribing. It really helps the channel out. It helps me out. And hey, who doesn't want to help a brother out? So go ahead and hit the HBO special, which is Help a Brother Out special down below. Click the subscribe button. Ring the bell next to it for when we upload videos. Also, if you're already subscribed, thank you. I genuinely appreciate it, and if you want to continue to support the channel, just give us a thumbs up and leave a take down below and let me know what you guys think, whether you agree, disagree, whatever that position might be. Thanks. Now let's get it. When we first were introduced to the whole concept of Christine leaving, more particularly when Christine approached Kody and told her that she wanted to get out of the marriage, one of the first tactics that Kody used, what about Truly? What about my relationship with Truly? You can't take her. You can't leave with her. She has to stay here. And everything that he did was all in the means and motive of trying to control Christine, not only whether she leaves or stays in the marriage. Ultimately, I don't think he really cares about whether she's tied into the marriage. What he does care about is maintaining the control, the physical and distance relationship of Christine. He wanted to control her movements, not necessarily her dating habits or what she's doing, but he wanted to control how far she could move, where she was going to go, more particularly that house, as we'll talk about maybe in a later video, as well as any of the money that comes in from TLC to the Sister Wives franchise. We can't forget or ignore that a lot of what Kody has going on and the other Sister Wives have going on is fundamentally the foundation of it fiscally is the Sister Wives money that they get from TLC. That yearly stipend is an infusion of cash to the family that they can continually use and grow and build upon. I think that what he was talking about, her breaking up and I don't want nobody coming after my money, the money that he was referring to was that TLC money. Because now Christine would be in a situation where she could say, instead of you sending one check to Kody so that we can put it in one bank account for the family, I am separate from the family, so you can go ahead and cut my brick off of that check and go ahead and send it to me, and here's my bank information. And Kody doesn't like that part of it. So everything that he did with regard to Truly, it all came off to me that it was very shallow, and it pointed to the idea that he wanted to try to maintain control. We got to keep in touch with because of Truly. We got to, think about Truly. What about Truly? Everything's about Truly. And ultimately, like so many other situations where false accusations or false premises as far as defense and argument goes to damage people who genuinely have this problem, in Kody's situation, I think that he genuinely does damage to fathers and or mothers, non-custodial parents who are fighting to try to see their children and fighting with very valid reason of saying, well, what about my kids? If you move away, I won't be able to see them and be a part of their life. I'm important to them and they're important to me. I am going to help to add to the beauty of their life, and I'm going to add to the quality of their life by my being present. And you can't take that away from me, and you can't take that away from them, and it's not fair. And I think that that's a very valid argument and a very valid position to have. However, if you're a person who's like Kody or similarly situated, where you don't give a damn about spending time with your kids, you don't care whether you hang out with them, see them, or what's going on with them, but you only want to use them as a means and method to control their mother or their father, who is the custodial parent, then you, my friend, are doing more damage to your child by being around that child. And if anything, Christine does Truly a huge favor by taking her and removing her from this situation, because this kind of thing can definitely start to mess up her self-esteem and how she sees herself, her securities. As a father, your job is to not only provide for your child and provide profess your love to your child, but it's also to protect your child. And in Kody's case, if he doesn't take time to actually try to protect Truly's heart and Truly's mindset and her mentality, give her the courage and the confidence to face the world, then he's doing her a huge disservice. And this goes right into the very idea, the very notion that he has tons and tons of missed opportunities when it comes to his kids. There are times when he could have spent time with Truly, or he could have spent time with Gwendolyn or Isabel or the other children, Gabe and Janelle's kids, and he chose not to do it. The one thing that you can never get back is time. For the little girls, a father's love coming and telling them, no, you're important. No, guys, when they try to talk to you, this is what you need to hear about men. And you shouldn't tolerate or be with a guy who doesn't care for you or want to be with you genuinely. Ultimately, how do you tell Truly that, yeah, you want to have a guy who cares about you and is all about you and is committed to you and does for you and provides for you, professes to you, protects you, and all those things? Yeah, none of those things I do for your mama. You hear the theory of what should be going on, but you have yet to see the application of that theory. You have no idea, because if you look at the relationship between Kody and Christine, none of that is in true fruition, and none of that is in true practice. So Truly is missing out on that vital, critical part of the father-daughter relationship. And this is not even to discount the fact that she goes off. She leaves to take Isabel to school. She comes back. Kody doesn't bother to come see her. He doesn't worry about seeing her. And thinking and keeping in mind that she's about to go to Utah. She could be going to Utah for him at that time. At any moment, she could be going to Utah and he could be getting that note that she'll be going and he won't be able to see her. He doesn't take time to go see her. Then they go and they decide they're going to move. And before they move, they get the final word that they're moving. The house is supposedly sold or on market and is supposed to be under contract to sell. Then we definitely have a date. He insisted Truly go get a COVID test so that she can come over to the house. Did she spend the weekend? No. Did she spend overnight? No. She's only there for a couple of hours. And then she goes back home. Why? And Christine said, well, she never stayed over at anybody's house. Okay. Fine, we'll go with that. She's never stayed at anybody's house. But she does know that Kody is her father, and Kody realizes that his daughter's about to move to another state. Even though he may never have had Truly overnight over at Robyn's house, you might want to start working her into that while Christine is still in the state and while she's still at home, so that Truly can get used to the idea and comfortable with the idea, so that way when they move to Utah, it's not that big of a jump or a leap for her to be able to stay over at Robyn's house, because that's what you guys do now. But no. Kody's not considered that. All right, now as we talk about the big goodbye, let's talk about what happened. This is when Mykelti, in her infinite wisdom, decided that she wanted everybody from Robyn's side, as well as Kody, to come over and say goodbye to Christine on her last night, because if they don't do this, then at some later point, they're going to feel bad. Here's a hint, Mykelti. If people aren't getting along and they genuinely don't like each other and they're angry with each other, you forcing them together like kids on a playground. Kids used to get in fights back in the day, and the teacher would come over and be like, he's your friend, she's your friend. And like, I hate that dude. He'd be like, okay, well, shake hands because you guys are going to be best buddies. And you have to shake their hand, even though you still mad at them, and you still want to do stuff to them, and they still mad at you and want to do stuff to you, and the teacher forced you to shake hands, and you guys like do that. And they go, okay, now go ahead over to your separate ways. That didn't resolve anything. They're not friends. That's just something you do in the schoolyard. And that's kind of how Mykelti's whole big goodbye kind of played out. Because when everybody showed up from Kody's side, Kody Robyn, her kids, her oldest kids showed up. They looked like they had just chewed on a damn onion on the way over to the house. And they were sucking lemons from the car to the back patio. Then when Kody gets into the backyard, the first thing he utters, stutters, and mutters is, well, I'm leaving in 5 minutes. And then he storms up to the house and yells into the house, we're out here. Like they were supposed to know. Like they got a GPS shoved up your keister and they know exactly where you are at all times. The only one staring at people and spying on people is Robyn down there in Coyote Pass, creeping out on Janelle. That's the only person in this whole series that I've seen actually spy on somebody. So when they had no idea that they were there, and when everybody came out, what did Kody do? Truly was running around, and they telling him in the state, she's playing with Saul and Ari, Robyn's kids, and then all of a sudden they're going to do the big goodbye, and as Truly's walking over to stand with her mom, Kody decides that he's going to ask her, hey, Truly, how do you feel about moving? You feel bad, right? I don't see no smile on your face. When she says, well, I don't mind it. Oh, I don't see no smile. You're not brimming with happiness. You're not sitting here clicking your heels. You're not doing backflips and cartwheels. I don't understand what's going on. And instead of him actually genuinely trying to have a conversation with her to make sure she was all right, he himself confessed that the whole reason why he asked is because he's trying to put Christine into a box so that he can make Christine feel bad so that she'll stay. And she'll do what he wants. He doesn't give a damn what happens with Truly, and he doesn't care about her feelings. And that in and of itself makes him a horrible person. But I'm not done yet. Then when Truly goes over, everybody says their little piece, and it was extremely uncomfortable, and they decide they're going to leave. All of a sudden, Kody decides he's going to go over and say goodbye. So as he walks over, he tells the little kids, stay back, stay back, stay back. COVID protocols. And he gives Truly a hug, tells her he going to miss him. And then they all leave. Like this dude, everybody wasn't getting into the same car. That makes no sense. You guys are all getting into the same car. You going to drive back to the same house. It doesn't make any sense why you would sit there and tell your younger kids that they can't be around their sister. Unless you're trying to create that separation. You're trying to make Truly feel bad. You're trying to make Christine feel bad. You're trying to create an awkward circumstance and situation because you don't want the wives and stuff to get together. That's on Kody's end. And then when Truly leaves and she comes back, all of a sudden, she's staying over at Janelle's house overnight. But I thought she didn't stay over nobody's house overnight. She ain't never did that before. Apparently, she can do it when it comes to Janelle, but she can't do it when it comes to her father. But instead of you insisting upon that, instead of you actually trying to see her, you're okay with her going over to spend time with Janelle because you really don't want her in Robyn's house. Because like you said, you don't have a space for her. You don't have space for your child. That's crazy. Now, a lot of people have pointed out that what Kody did was reprehensible and how he acted at the big goodbye. I'll take it a step further. I look at not only Robyn, but I look at her older children. You guys ought to be ashamed of yourselves because Robyn also is a person who tries to use Truly as a form of manipulation. What about the kids? What about the children? It's about the children and the family. When everybody breaks up, it's going to affect us for generations. When something you love so much blows up in your face, I don't understand what's going on. And all that craziness. At the end of the day, Robyn with a crazy-ass eyebrows is influencing her children to have a certain feeling towards Christine and her family. She's creating the Hatfield and McCoy situation. If you really wanted to have a tight relationship with Christine, maybe one of the easier ways for you to do it is for you to actually try to have a relationship with Christine and her kids. Instead of you trying to make her feel like you're the victim and she's doing something to you, just open your heart and be a genuine friend. That encourages people to be your friend. Not you tricking them or manipulating them. Not you trying to use their children or something that they care about and they love against them. It's genuinely you trying to look out for them in their best interest. Things didn't work out for Christine and Kody, much like things didn't work out for Robyn and her first husband. Nobody is going to sit here and tell you, I don't know what happened with you and your first husband, but if you weren't happy and you didn't want to be in that situation, I would never look at Robyn and tell her, no. You never should have married Kody. You should have stayed with your husband. You shouldn't have quit on that relationship, as Kody quite frankly said in the last episode that Christine is a quitter because she decided that she wanted to exit that relationship. Well, dude, you live with a quitter because she's divorced also. The one that you love is a quitter. But if she decides to leave a situation that's not healthy for her, that's not beneficial for her, then there's nothing wrong with you making that decision. And there's no shame in that. It's not quitting, it's making a decision. For the bigger question, what about Truly? Truly's going to be fine. In fact, I think that Truly's going to be in a much better situation because she's going to be surrounded by people who genuinely want to spend time with her and genuinely love her. People who don't feel obligated to spend time with you. There is a distinct difference between hanging out with somebody who feels obligated to hanging out with you and somebody who chooses to hang out with you. Just for my personal self-esteem, I'd rather hang out with somebody all day who loves hanging out with me and enjoys me for my company than somebody who feels that they need to hang out with me because they're trying to get their rent paid or they trying to make sure that they locking down my money. I'm James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out.